Dogs or cats? It's okay. It's not. You don't have to kill the other. It's just like a preference. It's okay.
Oh. I hate you, Josh. This night's been so miserable.
So
I wish I'd never met you. Dogs.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, sad, confused begins now.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Welcome. I'm Josh Horowitz, and today on Happy, Sad, Confused, we are, of course, live at the 92nd Street Y with actor and now director Anna Kendrick. Guys, thank you for being here. This is going to be a fun one. One of the pleasures of sticking around this business for a while is you get to know folks and you get to kind of go on the journey alongside them and see what they're capable of. And to see what Anna Kendrick has done in her career, going from camp and rocket science to Twilight, to an Oscar nomination and Up in the Air, to the Pitch Perfect movies, to Into the Woods, and now this insanely impressive directing debut, Woman of the Hour, now on Netflix. She's capable of anything, including a great conversation tonight. So I'm very pleased to welcome the one and only Anna Kendrick to Happy, Sad, Confused. There she is.
Hi, guys. That was so exciting. Wait, can I just say the thing that happened while we were backstage? So I was watching the trailer as it was playing backstage on a TV that I'm pretty sure has motion smoothing turned on, FYI.
Always a director.
But okay, as we were watching it, there's there's a shot of just a monitor, right? And it's supposed to say, like, in 1978, something. I don't know. I didn't write it. And it just was black. Was that what you guys just watched? What was that? That's so weird.
You're the director. It was a weird choice, Anna. Let's be real.
No, I'm like, what kind of like in process cut of the trailer got sent to the 92nd Street Y?
We get the bootleg versions. We don't get the real ones.
It said something really great that someone in marketing came up with
Right.
for the trailer that like really let you know what the movie was all about.
Right.
So, but also, are there that many people here who like haven't seen the movie, let alone the trailer? I would assume at least you've seen like a trailer.
Sure.
Yeah, well, you're not.
They're Anna Kendrick enthusiasts.
I suppose you shouldn't be like, no idea, not interested.
What movie? No. The movie is amazing. You know I love this film. Congratulations.
Thanks.
This is a big moment. This press tour has been, it's all on your shoulders. No pressure, Anna. But like, what's it been like? Kind of like, I don't know. Has this felt like a different kind of press tour for you?
Yeah. No, I like truly. I even was like, the first time, this is so silly, but I swear it's true. The first time that I was on like a step and repeat, it was for the Variety like directors to watch thing, and I was like shaking. I was trembling and I was just taking photos. I wasn't even talking to anyone yet because it was like, right, but I'm taking photos as a director. Like I don't know how to like.
What's the director pose?
Yeah.
What do you do?
No, but I'm like I've been trying to figure out how to like do press as an actor and been doing that for like 15 years and this feels very different. It makes me very nervous. I suppose for a lot of reasons, but like being like, oh, it's it's cliche, but like, oh, it's my baby and I'm so passionate about it. And also, yeah, I feel like I can't, I'm going to, but I can't revert to like, glib, dumb jokes.
Right.
And then I end up doing it anyway because I can't help it. But I'm trying to be like super serious, and I like run out of battery to be super serious.
We're gonna have to be semi-earnest tonight because this film demands it. I was listening back to one of our older conversations nearly a decade ago, and I asked you about potentially directing.
What did I say? Did I say I didn't want to?
You said you were very hesitant.
Yeah.
And you gave me the reason you gave was you said you didn't feel very comfortable with the camera, and you didn't want, especially for women, female directors, they get that kind of like label, like you don't want to be identified as like the woman that doesn't know how to operate, how to know where to put the camera.
Shut up! I said that. Whoa.
What do you make of that? Was that the real reason? Was that?
Well, God, it's not super far off. That's wild. Because I think that for a long time, I was expecting, there was kind of a standard answer I used to give about like, oh, that's a lot. Those people are crazy and they, like it's too stressful and I leave it to them and all that. But I guess, yeah, like even going into this, I actually, when I, found out I got the job, and, that was with 6 weeks to go before I was in Canada doing hard prep. So I called Paul Feig, who directed Bridesmaids and Simple Favor, and I was asking him for advice, and I did kind of confess something similar to him about how I was worried. I don't know, there is something specifically around camera that if you are not an absolute expert, and not to be this guy, but sometimes like, sorry, yeah, like especially as a woman, because it does feel like I know I'm not saying anything revolutionary here, but it does feel like sometimes you are responsible for your entire gender. And so if you don't know something, it's not because you're an idiot, it's because women shouldn't be doing this. And so you do feel a bit of that pressure. And yeah, it's interesting. There are places where I know that I have areas of deficit, but I think what was kind of fun is that usually my best friend on set is the A-camera operator because I'm with them all the time. And I got really close to our A-camera operator, Sasha, and it was like, oh, once again, like he and I are kind of always on the same page. Like my cinematographer and I would debate about certain things, but it was like, yeah, I have been doing this for 20 years. Like I don't know everything, but I have a sense of what the feeling should be, and I have a sense of what the camera needs to be doing to get that feeling.
Well, it is striking for those that have seen the film or who are going to see the film, how confident it feels, whether or not you felt it or not. And anxiety, I'm sure, it comes for any filmmaker, let alone a first-time filmmaker. But it feels a very assured film. Like you know where you want to put the camera. It doesn't feel messy. It feels like a very it's not a first-time filmmaker's movie, is what I'm saying to you.
Josh,
well, no,
so sweet, so sweet.
I butter you up and then I come in for the kill later. You know how I roll.
Gotcha.
But I want to talk about also the subject matter, and look, it tells a lot about what a filmmaker starts out their career discussing, and this is dark stuff. And I know you're a dark person because you've killed me in multiple sketches over the years.
That's true.
Yeah, so I know you're capable.
So fun to kill.
Well, what did you connect with? It sounds like this happened pretty relatively quickly. 6 weeks to prep. That's insane. Why did you know this was the one to take the plunge with?
I think. So I was in a certain situation in my life, and I actually got the script for this movie and the script for this tiny little indie I did called Alice Darling, in the same few weeks maybe. And Alice Darling is about a woman in a psychologically abusive relationship, and that was a pretty literal reflection of what was happening in my life. And this obviously isn't a literal reflection of that, but there was something in it that felt like familiar territory. And I signed on as an actor and just kind of waited for 2 years. Alice Darling came together pretty quickly. And sometimes you sign on to a movie and it happens quickly, and sometimes you're just sitting around for 2 years waiting for well, let me know. And then the other thing that happens is that kind of out of nowhere, way too quickly, it's hey, we raised the money and we have a window of time, and if we don't keep the train on the tracks, it will disappear, and who knows when we can, reassemble the pieces. And when that happened, we didn't have a director. And so we started to, the producers were talking about kind of scrambling and trying to find someone really quickly. And we were not looking at first-time directors. We were looking at people who were really experienced and knew how to take $3 and a roll of duct tape and make a feature film. And I just started to feel kind of heartbroken about the idea of someone else doing it. And also a little bit I've been thinking about the movie for 2 years. Wasn't thinking about it as a director, but I don't know, someone just comes in and you're going to tell me what the fucking movie is? I don't know that you are, sir.
I think I'm actually the expert on this subject now, so...
And I confess, I think over the years I read a bunch of different drafts of the script. It changed so much. And I did start to think, Well, if it were up to me, I would probably take that thing from that draft
Right.
and this thing from this draft. And this is also something I would put in that I've never seen in any of the drafts, but I feel like would be important or interesting or powerful. And yeah, that got really exciting.
Can you talk a little bit about, like, so your angle on this? Because, yeah, there are many different versions of this insane true story that could be told. What was important to you? What was the prism through which you wanted to tell this story?
Yeah, I think it has to do with terror. I know that obviously, but it's like there's this moment that I think a lot of us have been in where an interaction is kind of going fine, and then 10 seconds goes by and you're like, I don't know how we got here, but now it's very clear that I'm not safe. And I don't know how unsafe. Like, is this just gonna ruin my day? Is it gonna ruin my month? Am I in real danger here? And you couldn't even really relay after the fact what had happened. And, you know, like that moment in the bar with Pete Holmes when he touches my hair, it felt like that's kind of a perfect place to, which by the way, when I asked Pete to touch my hair, because I didn't like really break it to him until the day we were shooting it. He was like, why would I just do that? Why would I just touch you? That's so fucking weird.
I love that you cast like the two nicest, it's like Tony Hale
and Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes, like the most sweet men on the planet, as these microaggression masters.
Totally. But what I love about it is that if you tried to tell someone after, be like, well, I don't know, he was touching my hair, but maybe he was just brushing it off my shoulder. I'm not really sure, but then I was surprised, and then he seemed mad, and I don't know what happened, and then we fucked, and I don't know that I feel good about it. I don't know what I feel about it. And then kind of wondering like, well, I guess he didn't do anything wrong, and you know, just those kind of moments are loaded with, well, just how dangerous is this situation going to get for me?
What I want to talk about is the casting, because I was talking to you before. Your lead, your actor who plays Rodney, is extraordinary.
Yeah, Daniel Zavato he's really, really incredible. I mean, we were even I don't know if it's like objectifying for me to say this, but it's also very weird because in real life, Danny's really handsome. Right. He's like a very attractive person, and like he would become Rodney, and it was like his whole face would change. Because when I cast him, I was like, oh no, I've done that thing of casting a really attractive person to play this murderer, and then he like when he's Rodney, it's like it repels you.
What's it like to be on the other side of that audition casting coin?
You mean with him specifically?
Yeah,
or?
for you vetting actors, for you hiring actors.
Well, Danny, I knew I needed.
Okay.
I saw Danny in Station 11, and I was like, it's him. It has to be him. So he was like making a movie in Ireland, and I should double check with this. Don't quote me. Just keep it between us. Okay. That I think he was making a movie with Russell Crowe, and I mean, he came straight from that movie, and that's really hard to just like go literally movie to movie. And I think he was sort of like, oh my God, like, should I do another movie? And like, I'm kind of the lead of the movie and all that. And apparently, again, just between us, I think Russell Crowe was like, oh, I like Anna Kendrick. She's smart. You should do it. So I owe him a fruit basket. Unless I'm totally misremembering. So
I think let's go with that. I like that.
Yeah, great.
Story.
Yeah, no, print it.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What are you scared by? Because for me, I've got a few, right? I'm scared of flying. I'm scared of spiders. I've got a list. We all have a list. The good thing about this time of year, I guess, is that Halloween lets us have fun with what scares us. But what about those fears that don't involve zombies and ghosts? Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears and finding ways to overcome them. Because sometimes the scariest thing is actually not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. I've certainly benefited from therapy, and friends and family have too, and that's why BetterHelp is such an important sponsor of Happy, Sad, Confused. Therapy can help you deal with those fears and those challenges in everyday life. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It is designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your very busy schedule. All you have to do, they make it so easy, all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and you get matched with a licensed therapist. Plus, you can switch to your therapist at any time for no additional charges. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/HSC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/HSC.
You talk about those transition points, those moments where we don't even realize we're in a dangerous situation. When folks see this, there's an all-timer sequence in this film in the parking lot that is just so well staged and sneaks up on you, and it's all about the blocking and what we hear and don't hear. I just love to hear like how you build a sequence like that.
Yeah, funny enough, that's actually the first scene I could visualize. Like when I was debating, should I even tell anyone that I'm having this like voice that's saying like you should pitch yourself to direct the movie, I could picture that sequence, and I knew that I wanted to keep it mostly like mediums and close-ups, and then jump wide when it's like, oh, something's wrong, because I think that's the experience, is like you and I could just be chatting or whatever, and if suddenly something felt really off, I would become really aware of my surroundings. Like your peripheral vision suddenly kind of widens out, and you start wondering, like, can I hear anything other than just like the street lamps buzzing? Can I hear a couple fighting 2 blocks away? Like if I screamed, would someone find me? And that thing of going like, oh wow, like there's these 2 people in a frame. And I think in my pitch, I was sort of talking about how it was like, I wanted that sense that even if even if my character like ran for it, I wouldn't even get to the edge of the frame before he was on top of me. You know, where you're really like, I just have to pray that he's not actually gonna do anything and he's not actually following me. He just happens to be walking in this direction. And I also knew that like he says something in the scene that's like quite creepy. And I knew I wanted to keep it right on that line of like, well, wait, what did he say?
Yeah, it is that moment of like, did I hear that?
Did I hear that?
Yeah.
And again, that's that kind of experiential thing of like, well, I don't know what should I go to the police and say what? I think maybe he said something creepy to me. And yeah, just not really knowing, should I run or am I being paranoid?
Has this changed you as an actor since then? You've probably acted, I would imagine, since directing the film.
I actually have only done Simple Favor 2. That's the thing that I've
Woo!
And I was really glad that it was like Paul Feig, the director who I've worked with, and John Schwartzman, the cinematographer who I've worked with, because I was thinking like, oh God, the next time I'm on a film set as an actor, is that thing gonna happen where people are like, oh boy, she directs one movie and she thinks she knows everything. And when I went back to work with them, it was like, oh, she was always like this. You know, she's super nosy, super opinionated. This doesn't have to do with her directing a film. She's just annoying. So thank God for that. That's just her personality.
That's just Anna. Let's dive back in time a little bit. This is your life, Anna Kendrick. Child Anna. Tell me about Child Anna Kendrick. On the precocious to, oh my God, this kid is a lot scale. Where were you? What were you like as a child?
Yeah, I think the word precocious was thrown around a lot, and it was code for, oh my God, what is wrong with this girl? Yeah, I think I would have like pushed me down a flight of stairs if I met young me. I would be like, I'm gonna fucking yeah.
What was it? You just loved performing. You wanted it.
I wanted to perform, and I think I also like wanted to be an adult. You know, it's that awful thing where kids try to talk like adults. It makes me cringe so much now because I know that I did it as a kid. But I was also like, I was always the smallest kid in class, and I looked like the baby, and you know, when you're in 3rd grade, looking like a 1st grader is like the nightmare. So I was so desperate to be like more mature and well-spoken than all the other 3rd graders, that I think I was pretty insufferable.
But by nature of the work, you were in these kind of adult situations. So you were on Broadway by 12, do I have that right? High Society. you were nominated for a Tony, which...
I lost.
No, don't give me that. You were... That's... Should we really make this fun and awkward and look at a clip of you in high society?
Oh, I fucking hate you. I wouldn't have even shown up. No.
You don't have to turn
I'll
around.
just drink a lot tonight. It's fine.
This is for them, not for you. Here we go, high society.
I love Paris in the springtime. I love Paris in the fall.
Viens. Do you remember Philippe?
Do I remember Philippe?
Yes, do you?
No.
Neither do I. What about Jean?
Oh, Jean, that's another story.
Life is not the same without Jean.
Ha ha ha.
You know that dream you have where you're naked in a grocery store? Except it's real life and it's the 92Y and it's actually happening to you in front of 100. I'm never gonna speak to you again.
Worth it. So...
I'm like legit lightheaded right now.
Does that take you back? Do you...
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, as soon as the blood comes back into my brain, I'm gonna talk about what just happened.
Here's what we're gonna continue.
I'm doing a weird French accent because we're supposed to be acting crazy in that scene. Whatever, it doesn't matter, you guys.
So here's the thing. So you're nominated for a Tony, and you had these experiences relatively early in your career, later with Camp and Rocket Science, where these things are all celebrated. And now, she can't.
I'm not gonna be able to move on from that.
I know. But
does someone want to bring me a shot? What the fuck?
I guess it speaks to the complicated nature of success for a young actor when they think like, oh, I've got a Tony nomination, everything's set, and that's not the reality for anybody, an adult, let alone a 12-year-old child. Did that enter into your...
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. I don't think that ever entered my brain. I don't think it has entered my brain at any point, perhaps to my detriment. I think there's always that sense of like the wolves at the door or something, it just kind of doesn't go away. And there's always a sense that like, well, this is probably my last job because how did I get it in the first place? So yeah, I was very much like, oh God, what if I'm one of those people that like, I mean, immediately, like I'm on Broadway and I'm like, what if I'm one of those people where then eventually I'm, like I'm an accountant and I'm like, oh yeah, weird fact about me.
You were thinking that at 12 years old. You were already thinking that way.
Yes. Yeah. That's I don't know what that's about. There's just kind of like, I guess there's hi, you guys are my therapist. I guess there's a bit of a, like a scarcity mentality thing. And you also go after like, not to be lame, but your dream, gross. And so you get some of it and you just can't believe it's happening. So you're like, well, this is gonna go away, which you'd think would at least make me like, well, I'm just gonna enjoy it. And it doesn't. It does kind of make you hyper vigilant in a way that I think isn't super helpful. But then honestly, I was talking to, I saw Aziz Ansari pretty quickly after I'd wrapped the movie, and he was like, oh yeah, doesn't it make you like appreciate all the times that you've just been an actor and you're like super chill on set and you don't have to think about anything? And I was like, that's not my experience. Like
sounds awesome.
No, like I was like, oh, that's my problem, is that like everything's my fault, everything's my responsibility. Like it's all on me, which no one wants me to be doing, by the way. That's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm such an amazing coworker. It's like I need to back the fuck up. But it was interesting because then I'm directing and like the experience was almost identical for me. But at least this time I like got all the information and I got to have some control. So I thought it was great.
I'm gonna jump ahead because as much as I'd like to go each and every one and embarrass you with clips for everything. I don't have that kind of time. Jumping all the way to Pitch Perfect. So obviously you loved that script. You were excited about it, but the phenomenon that it became must have, did it
Just
shock
all
you?
by surprise. Yeah, completely. Especially like it didn't. I don't know if everybody like knows this or if maybe it's not a remembered thing, but like in theaters it didn't really perform. It did okay, but certainly not enough to warrant a sequel. And then it was like, I mean, this is dating the movie, but it was on HBO, just on TV, and people were like finding it there, and then it was big on again dating it iTunes, and yeah, that a bunch of that stuff kind of coincided, and then friggin' Cups started climbing the charts, you guys, and yeah, we were all like, what? I don't understand what's happening. Like, this was just like a movie we did, and like, okay, it did okay, and the reviews were okay. And then it became something else.
And you gave me the exclusive backstage on the sequel, an idea that has come in from...
Oh my God, I hate you so much. No, I was saying, again, weirdly, like in the last month, people keep asking me about Pitch Perfect 4, like, which occasionally they would do, but it's been like a lot recently. I don't know quite why, but I was like, then literally last night, I'll get my phone. I like last night, my mother texted me at 10 p.m. and was like, if you're gonna do a Pitch Perfect 4, I have an idea. But then it was just like ... And then she just like wouldn't tell me. And then she was like, look, I'll sell it to Paramount for the right price. And I was like, well, it is a Universal film. But I mean, honestly, that's just good business, you know? Start a bidding war. She's cutthroat, you know?
Yeah. Do you still have like PTSD if Cups are in front of you at a restaurant? Like, oh, they're going to want me to do it. They're going to want me to do it.
No, it's interesting though. When I listen to that clip, I'm like, oh, Anna, you're rushing the end of the phrase. Like, I keep like... Because I think it was hard to learn, like when we did the recording for the album, which at the time I was like, why are we putting this on the album? No one's gonna listen to this. We were in the booth and the music producer was like, you're rushing the end of the phrase a little bit, and like put like a metronome in my headphones so that I was doing it more evenly. And so now I'm like, Anna, you're rushing the end of the phrase. God damn it.
You mentioned working with Paul Feig on A Simple Favor, which is such a fantastic film. So happy you guys have shot the sequel. Although it sounds a bit like a boondoggle. You shot in Capri, you, Blake, and come on, let's...
Yeah.
Real movie.
I know, dragging me to Italy? What an asshole.
That movie's kind of a miracle, though, because I remember going in, like, we were all like, what is this movie going to be?
So was I. No, like, literally, like, every day was like, is it funny? Is it scary? Like, what is this? Like, I really can't think of, like, a comp for the tone of that film.
Did you ever, like, did you know before you saw the finished product? Did you gain
No.
confidence on...
No, did I? Oh, was the end of that sentence, did you gain confidence on set? No. No, I mean, it really was every day, like, what movie are you in? Like, I'll try to join you, but I don't know. It was like, I don't want to say worst nightmare, it was certainly destabilizing, you know? And it really is, like, I don't know that Paul could have found the words to really explain it. It was like, you couldn't really see it until it was the movie. But yeah, it was a lot of, I mean, I pestered him a lot about like, what is the, cause it was like, okay, it's a comedy. So I thought like, are we playing like the murders as though they're funny? Like it's the movie Clue or something, you know, where like the murders are like, oh my God, he's dead. But it was like, no, then it gets like deadly serious, and we're playing that all really seriously. So yeah, it was, obviously it wasn't like, it wasn't so much about, oh, I didn't have confidence that like, I was like, oh, the movie's gonna be shit. It was more like, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I must be doing something wrong because I don't like get it. But then like nobody got it. Like nobody other than Paul. Like he could see it. And I really am like, I don't know how that's all going on in that brain because he's another like real sweetheart. But there's some darkness up there. I'm into it.
Paul Feig is such a sweetheart that I don't think you're going to be upset about this. He sent a little message.
No,
Paul
he
Feig,
didn't.
He did. Let's look at a message from Paul Feig to you, Anna.
Hey, Josh. Hey, everybody in the audience. It's Paul Feig, Anna Kendrick's #1 fan. Hi, Anna. I just want to say congrats to Anna. My God, the movie you did is so amazing. But it's not a surprise that you're a great director because you're always the most professional, the most talented, the most responsible person on the set. Anna always shows up knowing her lines and everybody else's lines, and it's just, she's the best. And Anna, I just want to ask you a question. You made your movie in 21 days, which seems impossible. How did you do that? And can you teach me how to do it? Because I have no idea how to do that. And just a little side note, I was an actor and do tend to still do it. So if there's a role in any one of your movies, I can get my headshot to you, okay? So let me just, I'll call my agent. Okay, well, thanks. And
Oh, Paul! Oh my God, what a sweetheart. It was 24 days, I just want to get there. Oh my God, he's he's a great actor. Like, he's in an episode of The Office as the guy. He's the guy with the dog, cat, mouse thing. Do you guys remember that? It's like a late season Office thing. Yeah, there's a couple of ums and ahs. He's great. He's great in it. He's very funny. Oh wait, what was the question? The right
speed of it.
Yes, it was challenging. It was challenging. I'm just having a minor flashback. Well, I was saying to someone earlier that they were asking me about like deleted scenes, and I was like, there aren't any of those.
We didn't have time for that.
No, we didn't. There's nothing that like we had to take big, huge leaps of faith and like cut anything that wasn't completely necessary and kind of use everything that we had and that's not a great way to make a movie. I would not want to do that again. Like not having any wiggle room, but like we just didn't have the money. Like we're very happy to have found a home with Netflix and they've been wonderful, but we were not working with Netflix money and resources and timelines. Like this was we were fucking on our own. So I think the fact that the movie is a miracle, and took a lot of like creativity and hustle. And I think I also have like a little bit of a thing where when things are going wrong and like the day starts to get behind, I get like a real jolt of like dopamine. Like I get really excited. I get kind of crazy eyes. But there's something about the challenge of going like, we're gonna make this day. Oh, we're gonna get all the shots, motherfucker. That like I do get really like amped about it.
I feel like we're long overdue on musical, return to Broadway, one or the other. There's a lot to do in a career. It's a long career, but is that on the to-do list?
Well, I think I do have like, I would love to direct more, and I have this kind of like long-term ambition to direct a musical, and I was like, obviously I think musicals are really challenging, and so I would want to get like some more experience under my belt before attempting that. And I was in an event on Saturday where Steven Spielberg spoke, and he was talking about making West Side Story, and he was like, it was so much harder than I thought it was gonna be. Steven Spielberg? Like, I was thinking like, I don't know, maybe if I made more movies, like maybe like my 4th movie, and now I'm like, maybe my 50th, Jesus. Maybe if I live to be 200, like him, what? So now I might have to, I don't know.
Thanks, Steven. Screwed us out of a musical. Are you still watching Lord of the Rings every year? Is that off the list?
I don't think I've done the annual thing in a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about well, there's kind of a Howard Shore-inspired moment in the score. My composer was talking about adding some vocals to the score. And I was like, funny enough, I accidentally hired all singers. All of the women in the movie are fantastic singers. Like, I didn't know that. I knew one, but, and so I was like, well, you know, we got a bunch of singers. So there's this kind of, like cacophonous, dissonant chanting in the movie. You'd even kind of have to be listening for it a bit, but it comes in whenever a woman in the scene kind of realizes that something's wrong. And we like would kind of move around the room and do this weird chanting thing where it was like we were almost not listening to each other, but we're trying to be dissonant. I don't know, it was really interesting. And then we would just move around the room and like double it and triple it and on and on. And so it sort of sounds like there's hundreds of women trying to kind of claw through time to warn this woman. And it's really heartbreaking, and it's kind of like, it has that goosebump effect, just the sound of it. And then there's a moment where Rodney, the killer, realizes he's really caught, he's cornered, right? And it's like right at the moment that he realizes that, I had Kelly Jekyll, who's the actress in the opening scene, and she's actually in Pitch Perfect, so I know her voice really well, and it's like this glass bell type tone, and I asked her to sing like a lone note that would stand out in that moment, and it's almost like the chord kind of resolves for a second, and there was just something really beautiful to me about the idea that the woman from the opening scene of the film is kind of like free. Again, you'd really have to be listening for it, but wait, how did we get on this?
Howard Shore.
Howard Shore. It has a Howard Shore quality, and I like it, but but I also, just before I came here, I saw, you must have seen this thing where the cinematographer from Lord of the Rings, like Sean Astin, you must have heard this, that Sean Astin one day was like asking him, you know, they're supposed to be in like a dungeon or somewhere where there wouldn't be any light, like a cave. And he said, like, well, where's the light coming from? And he said, the same place the music's coming from. Which is a killer line.
Good answer.
Killer line.
I would imagine you don't have to audition much or at all anymore, but are there, when you get offers, do you find sometimes people are, I mean, the cliche, and it's true, is they offer you the same thing you've done before. Mm-hmm. What are your turnoffs in scripts nowadays?
I think that there's a certain kind of like hyper uptight woman that I read over and over and over again. And you know what, you guys aren't gonna laugh at this, but my agent backstage is gonna laugh at this, which is like, I don't know this woman, like she's so tightly wound and she's so uptight, and I don't know this woman, and I know Jackie Katz, laugh, she's backstage, she's laughing so hard, I can hear her. But I don't know these women. I don't know what that caricature is, and like I think I play a version of her in the Simple Favor movies, sure. But that's a very heightened world, at least. You know, it is kind of like suddenly very serious and suddenly very funny, but it's certainly heightened, and I don't know what that's about. It's kind of everywhere.
It became a trope in film, and then it just is a self-perpetuating. It's just like, okay, wash, rinse, repeat. That's what it is. That's a human being.
Like a toxic positivity Karen theater kid thing, and like I get it, I have those qualities, but
not all at once.
Yeah, like it's and it's like, and then it's my responsibility to make this really unlikable caricature of a woman likable. Like, no, write something better. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. We're gonna end with the happy second, fuse profoundly random questions. Anna, you ready? Dogs or cats? It's okay. You don't have to kill the other. It's just like a preference. It's okay.
Oh. I mean, I hate you, Josh. This night's been so miserable. I wish I'd never met you. Dogs. Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. Do you collect anything? What do you collect?
I have a couple like prized possessions. I have 3 original lobby cards from the 1939 film The Women, which is my favorite film. And right now they're hanging in a place in my house where it was very clearly kind of like I needed 4 pieces of art. And so don't tell anyone, it's between us. I printed out like a 4th one, and it's just kind of, oh wow, judgment. It's aspirational because I'm determined to find a 4th one. I think there's more than 4, but yeah, every now and then I'll go on like auction sites and stuff and see if there's one. But I'm still on the hunt. I think being on the hunt is also part of the fun of collecting.
Right. What's the wallpaper on your phone?
Rosalind Russell from the 1939 film The Women.
Okay.
That's a fact. Get the phone. I'll show you.
We believe you. Last actor you were mistaken for?
I don't get her that much anymore. For a while, I was getting Kate Mara, which was really flattering. She's a babe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that there's many others.
One Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the worst note a director has ever given you?
Oh, well. Yeah, is there a way for me to tell this without giving away? I remember a director once in a room full of like 100 extras or something, being like, it really felt like a move, being like, hey, on this next one, like just try something, just like make something up, just improv something, and doing it, and then the called cut, and then the director came over, and once again, in front of 100 extras, went, oof, let's go back to the script. And it really felt like a very specific power move thing to gain dominance or something. It was very, very icky. And then the thing that I improv'd ended up in the trailer. So fuck you.
Finally, in the spirit of happy, sad, confused, who's an actor that always makes you happy?
That I know or not know?
Either one. You see them on screen, you are giddy, you are a better person.
Patricia Clarkson. I just, that thing when you're watching the Olympics or something, and you don't know how it's gonna go, and you're so tense because you're like, oh God, what if she falls? Like, especially with like ice skating and gymnastics. And then sometimes a friend will send you something that's already happened, and they're like, she got a perfect 10, and you can just relax and be like, oh, this is gonna be great. That's how I feel whenever she shows up on screen. I love her.
Good answer. Movie that makes you sad?
So many. Well, this is embarrassing, but this is what's coming to mind because I just saw a clip on Instagram. You remember that movie Stepmom?
Yeah.
How? What? Wait, like I was like a kid,
Yeah.
and it's like Julia Roberts, and like I think it was young Jenna Malone.
I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
It's
yeah.
wonderful. And it like why did they make that movie just to torture us? Like, mom slowly dying of cancer. Awful. Horrifying. But I watched that thing over and over.
And finally, a food that makes you confused. You don't get it.
Oh. I think there's some, like, sweet, savory things that I do like. And I'm loath to admit, I'm so uncool. But pad thai, I'm like, is it sweet? Is it savory? I know! I want to like it so much. I would feel so much cooler if I did. And I'm just like, but is it sweet? I don't.
I'm still in shock from her shock. That was so intense.
I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm getting it from the wrong place. I mean, it seems like you would know good places. If you don't, it would be really weird.
Well, that's quite a...
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. No, that's why I need to go to Thailand.
Gotta get the authentic stuff. It's been an emotional roller coaster with you, Anna.
Wait, have you been to Thailand? I'm assuming. Okay, well then that explains the gasp. So I'm sorry, I was being judgmental. So okay.
This may or may not be our last conversation. I hope it's not the last. But I do have a gift for you before you go.
Oh,
because
God.
you've been on Happy, Sad, Confused
So many times.
the 5th time. And when you're on 5 times, much like SNL, you get a free thing. You get a hat.
I love
Welcome.
a hat.
5-Timers Club on Happy, Sad, Confused. Anna Kendrick. Yeah, no one wears it like that. Everybody, if you haven't seen it already, spread the good word on Woman of the Hour.
So many people's phones went up. Wow.
I mean this with all sincerity. It is a fantastic piece of work. Congratulations on it. Spread the good word. Everybody, it's Anna Kendrick. Thank you for coming.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.